Let's hear Stuart Varney display his absolute ignorance of history. Here he is on Fox Business, opining about something that he couldn't even be bothered, apparently, to Google.
I honestly thought it was a joke. Senator Elizabeth Warren stridently attacking top banker Jamie Dimon about overdraft fees. What a spectacle. Now, I guess that if you personally have been hit with an overdraft fee, you might think that this is an important issue. Sorry, folks. In the great scheme of things, it is not. There are far bigger fish to fry than overdraft fees. But this was Senator Warren's opportunity to show just how much she dislikes those wicked bankers. We've seen her in action before. We'll no doubt see her again. Her contempt for bankers and banks knows no bounds. But there's something more going on here. The left wants the banks to get in line with their social revolution. Big corporations are already on board with social justice. The left wants the banks on board with climate change, racial justice, unionization, workers on the board. And Senator Warren wants to control exactly who gets a loan from a bank. And it wouldn't be you, now would it? If you actually sat through yesterday's hearings, you would have heard the left play at theatrics. And I'm sure that to some people, bashing the fat cats has some appeal. America's most powerful bankers all lined up on those Zoom screens. They make an easy target, don't they? But people who are serious about money will not be happy to see the entire banking industry pilloried like this. We need a stable, solid, profitable banking system like the one we've got. Seriously, do you want a socialist government-run bank that decides who gets a loan, who gets a job, and which industries get investment cash? That's not the way we should be doing things in capitalist America. Third,
he doesn't even make really any type of substantive argument. It's all just sort of like, do you want? We had public banking run by the post office into the 60s, and I don't know if they did any big loans, but the idea of a public bank, we have one in, what is it, North Dakota?
Yep, North Dakota. They paid for me to go study abroad in the UK, actually.
Well, Stuart Varney was right. I guess it was a huge mistake for them to provide you loans to
from
do
his
such
perspective.
A thing. North Dakota, they have a publicly owned bank. Of course you would want one. Of course you would want a bank that is assessing the value of a loan, not just in, A, the ability to pay, but B, and there should be, you should, there's a fiduciary responsibility. That's why they call them loan officers. It's why actually they should have all been held to account far more so in the mortgage crisis, because they failed at their fiduciary responsibility as a loan officer in assessing the risks associated with the loans. They were just chasing their fees. So a bank that doesn't have, where you don't have, you don't have a profit motive. You have a motive to maintain the capitalization of the bank. You have a motive to make sure that we're not making unsafe loans that that affect the capitalization of the bank. But without the profit motive, your assessment of someone being loan worthy becomes far more responsible. Your assessment of someone being loan worthy also becomes far more community minded. You actually can take into account, like, hey, this community does need another grocery store. This community does need another ice cream stand. This community does need a car dealership. This community does need people who are able to travel abroad, go to school in a foreign country, whatever it is. Bankers supposedly do that now, but they also get intertwined with a profit motive. If these private banks are so great, let's test Stuart Varney's proposition. Let's have a national bank Let's have state-run banks across the country. Let them compete. Then while we're at it, let's also have a public option for healthcare. Just as a starting point, we can get a real good sense of it. They're terrified.
Also, he mentions like bankers and also like mass decision-making about climate change. Part of the reason we're not doing anything is how invested all these bankers are in the oil economy.
Yeah. And you know, you're already starting to see the change, right? I mean, was it in Denmark? They basically said to the Royal Dutch company, like, we need to be zero emissions, I think, by 2050. So in other words, change your business model. You're seeing this with this hedge fund that was set up to get a bunch of members of the Exxon's board elected. They got 2 elected at least at this point. This is making it more expensive to loan to those companies is, you know, one methodology, but another method would be have the bankers actually concerned about issues that affect society that are really externalities of their business. I mean, that's basically what's going on. People should understand this. For both the banker and for anybody dealing with these oil companies, they are making money by offloading the externalities of their profit making to society. They are privatizing the profits. They are socializing the costs. What makes this even more egregious is that the costs that they're socializing are ones that you can't just pay for with money. You pay for in lives. You pay for in the destruction of the planet. And there may not be enough cash to slow that down. I mean, I guess maybe you keep printing money and see if you could like maybe somehow, I don't know, make some type of funnel where the heat, the greenhouse gases go out into the universe. But I don't have the scientific know-how to explain that. But I mean, that's the bottom line. You're externalizing the cost of them making profit.